Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is round 3, match 3 of the HOL IASP charity tournament. This time around, we've got TAW versus the 107. We're fighting over the star on Hurtgen Forest. I'm joined here with First Lieutenant Rob.
Hey everybody, here we go. Let's see the Scar. Very exciting. How do you want to record today, Sparrow? You want to hit the? I'll hit the North Pass side if you want to cover from the Siegfried Line side.
Sure.
Cool. All right.
So it should be an interesting matchup. It looks like TAW hasn't spawned everybody in. I guess they're holding spawns to have a massive spawn wave like they've done in the past.
Meanwhile, we're seeing 107th fielding 3 armor, small, medium, heavy, as well as troop transport and supply truck.
Still got one extra person on the
Yeah, I'm
107.
working on it.
All right. It should be good now.
I'm ready. So and looks like gonna get that supply truck right up in there, and this is gonna be interesting. So they're doing small, medium, heavy from 107th. What kind of armor are we seeing from?
We only got a heavy from TAW here. It's a 2-man. So it should be interesting. But TAW tends to rely more on having that initial infantry push come from a garrison rather than having everybody spawn in at spawn and load up on a transport truck or something.
Yeah.
So, which has worked out, but it leaves them rather vulnerable as they don't tend to put up a lot of garrisons, it seems like. I could see the supply truck from the 107th start to come in here as it reaches the top of the hill on the Siegfried line with the commander in it.
Yeah, so where the TAW supply truck is going is right where where 107th is shelling. So I'm really excited to see if they're able to squeeze through. Oh, and they just got taken out! Oh no!
Oh, that's so big. Well, all right, they have a transport truck up in the north. The fact that they took out that supply truck is huge. Oof.
Wow, that was the Stewart, I believe, from 107 picking that vehicle. I will say it might not be the end all be all, as we see it looks like their troop transport from TAW is in position, and right now only we just had a massive spawn waves from 107. So I think it's still going to be a pretty even push getting in there, but man, what a shot.
Yeah, but that 40-second delay just from losing that supply truck at the very beginning like they did is a little bit devastating for TAW. So because they've lost that, I could see the 107 just swarming down the hill and getting into the Scar as fast as they can.
Yeah, and this is going to be an interesting moment for TAW to see how they respond to a little bit of adversity early on.
It's like the clash of the spawn waves here.
Right.
TAW doesn't seem to be going directly into the point. They're trying to engulf that 107 attack a bit more.
Yeah, right now I like how 107th has their armor. They have a pretty wide spread of armor that is already doing some significant harassing. Ooh. As we're seeing TW just having some trouble with that armor being able to pepper them as they're trying to get into the point.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, I've never really seen much of a use for the light tanks until this matchup. Or not this matchup, just this tournament in general, I should say.
Yeah,
A
getting
lot of
after it and picking those troop transports is a game changer.
yeah. So it's rather interesting to watch the 107th, how they're moving through the trenches here. They have an entire squad set up in the trench system itself to do what they need to do. They do have some people going to attack salient, but I don't know how far they're actually going to get with that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how TAW responds here. I'm actually we're gonna rotate over to salient, just to keep eye, make sure everyone stays in bounds.
All right. I'm
But
kind of rotating around the scar a little bit so I can look more northeast.
yeah, meanwhile though, TAW does have a squad committed on salient, and they've pretty much already been able to answer any kind of pressure that's been sent their way. But the TAW squad is playing pretty far up, so it'll be interesting to see if 107th tries to get that airhead in behind them to be
That's for sure.
destructive.
I gotta say the garrison game from TAW is a bit stronger than I think I remember seeing in the past. They've got 5 garrisons set up already.
Yep, that's pretty good. Meanwhile, 107 has only 3. But we do see some cap progress on the Scar. So TAW just doing the massive pressure wave. Um, it's going to be interesting to see if 107 is going to have to bail out on this attack, as they do have 2 squad size elements trying to push into salient. But with cap progress, they must be thinking like, maybe
Yeah, it
we aren't
looks
going to be able to commit that much forces.
yeah. We got a 40v40 here. Now I think somebody just joined a little late
Perfect.
for on TAW's side, so fairly even matchup. TAW is slowly advancing down the trench system, but this light tank on the hill is just trying to take out as many of the TAW people moving up.
Meanwhile, what kind of response are you seeing from the TAW armor? Is that heavy tank in a position where it can maybe start to counter that or that armor fire?
It's slowly making its way down the hill. Like, it's still not at the battle yet. I don't know why that is. They're just now kind of arriving on scene.
Meanwhile, some really accurate artillery shells from 107th is actually disrupting the TAW defense. As the TAW was trying to take an advantageous trench position for the attack, and now we've seen artillery has all but wiped completely the squad that was in place to defend salient. So some really active and accurate artillery play being showcased right here by the 107th.
Yeah, I gotta say, TAW's approach here, they have a very cohesive line as they push down. There's not a lot of gaps for the 107 to really go in and exploit. So I gotta say, good on them for having good unit cohesion.
hmm Meanwhile, you do see the recon element from 107th starting to get in and around the forward defensive forces from TAW. Controversial play. I think it makes a lot of sense to have that forward force trying to kind of box out the offense, but it does leave themselves super vulnerable as the recon element is getting in behind. But once again, we are seeing the cap progress go towards TAW on the Scar.
Yeah, they're slowly working their way down this hill as they've just been taking more and more positions away from the 107.
Meanwhile, we see the 107th is concerned over the taking of the Scar, as now they're in that critical judgment call. Are they going to have faith in their defense and keep this squad level assault, or are they going to fall back? And this is the really tricky point for the commander. Usually, Hell at Loose rewards those who play conservative, but we'll see. Maybe 107th can get their defense ripping and rolling again. Um, and
No, it looks like Todd has more or less gotten a good foothold here with Lucas pushing in there with his squad and Tosuma. So, and they're winning their gunfights. So they're actually like on the strong point in the trench system there.
Meanwhile,
They just have to hold out.
Meanwhile, we're seeing two sections trying to. It's a 2-on-1 assault section right now. As the TAW defensive squad doing a really good job holding off these two 107th sections. As TAW Kalipo wins a couple good key gunfights to stall
Got
out
a
their
big bombing
approach.
run here from 107th. Question is it going to go far enough to take out this massive troop buildup? He took out two, not quite enough.
Yeah.
There's a bombing
Meanwhile,
run going over the point from TAW. It may help, it may not. It depends who it gets here. 1, 2, 3. It got 3 people on the point
yeah.
itself. I don't think that particular bombing run may have helped them. They've been calling
So
out this tank in D4 that's been pounding the hillside if they advance down, just killing them.
yeah, right now, really interesting play from Charlie Recon Squad Tick. He's actually getting in behind the TAW's lines, and that could be incredibly disruptive. Also, reinforce on point without a garrison from 107th, but I really appreciate Stig's approach to realize, hey, they're taking the scar. We got to redirect our focus. 107th did put an airhead in behind the lines on Salient, but doesn't look like they're going to be able to capitalize on it. But I think that's a
Yeah.
really heads up play from the Raycon to say, hey, what's the point of going after Salient right now when we're losing the Scar? We gotta cover our defense before we can start pushing the cap race. So I think that's a real heads up play as they reestablish the garrison on the Scar. Interesting to see how well Stig and Critical Fail are going to be able to disrupt that TW push from the Recon presence in the rear.
Yeah, I gotta say the TAW is just they're pushing into the Scar, but they've got the surrounding area more or less taken, while the 107 just has the strong point itself. So, and they've covered that area fairly decently.
Yep. Meanwhile, we do see some forces from the 107th redeployed on Salient, and we are starting to see cap progress onto Salient itself. So here comes the cap race. So the question is going to be, with that reinforce now starting to let up from TAW, is 107th going to be able to win this cap race? We're seeing the defensive squad from TAW are winning a lot of gunfights, and they're starting to fall in. However, it seems like they've yet to become aware of that airhead drop-in with 2 sections worth of infantry pushing into Salient. TAW is definitely in a very vulnerable position at this moment, as they also are no longer capping the Scar.
Yeah, there's a reinforced on Salient right now as Dog Squad starts to push in to try and take that force out, but it's a very contentious position. Do you pull back or
I
try and
mean,
deal with that?
I would definitely recommend a fallback at this point with, over halfway capped, even with the reinforce. As we're seeing the 107 starting to engulf the point. How's the assault on the Scar going for TAW?
TAW is getting bombarded from a few tanks on the hill, probably a heavy and a Stuart that's still there. And I'm surprised it's still there. I don't know where this TAW armor is at or what the heck it's doing, but it is not helping this assault. As they've just been getting pummeled with HE shells going on to the point.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like 107 has pretty commanding map control all around the salient, and I think we're going to see a full cap here from 107th. Some really
Yeah,
great
there's a
defense from
reinforced.
100. Some really impressive defense from 107th. Able to recapture the Scar, and then a quick, very gutsy move getting that airhead in and redeploying to make that cap. And it looks like, after a couple quick gunfights, won by I like
Oh, it
lead.
is teetering.
But I don't think it's gonna be enough. Oh, and with a massive spawn from TAW, we're seeing it go back the other way. Really, it's all on. Well, I like lead to continue winning those gunfights because I think the second he goes down, we're gonna see this flip. And there
Good
goes.
showing from We Like
Lead.
We like lead.
But with him down, it looks like 107th will probably be able to pull this up. I don't know. It's going to be close. It looks like it's going. I think it's going to go. And there it is.
Oh,
There's the
there it
cap.
is. So the question is, how quick can TAW and 107th redeploy to now fight over Salient? We're going
Yeah.
to end probably at 59 minutes here. I didn't see the exact second. when it
59
went down.
minutes, 15 seconds. Cool. So let them know that TW has till 59 minutes. They must capture by 59 minutes and 15 seconds. I will say TW looks like they have a pretty commanding presence to recap Salient.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, I think, from TAW's side that they just haven't. That armor just didn't help them with the assault. If it had taken out at least the Stewart or one of those heavies on the hill, it would have been a game changer. I think putting the bombing run where they did was a mistake, but
Hey, Steph Sergeant Monty, can you turn around? You're going out of bounds, buddy.
yeah, we are seeing cap progress towards her TAW as they've been winning their gunfights on point, but just losing Salient like they did is pretty hard.
Yeah.
Ares and Huck.
Yeah, I'm on them. Hey, guys, you're out of bounds. Can you please turn around and move back into bounds? Thank you. Just make sure we're not on the wrong side of the line, please. Thanks, guys. That kill was solid on the tank, but let's just keep it in bounds. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I gotta say, just TAW losing that cap race and not taking care of the tanks, it kind of screwed them here a little bit.
I will say though, right now, TW has pretty good control over. I will not be surprised to see a recapture here, as TW is making their way back into the point.
Yeah, but I can see, I'm on the map edge right now. I can see the 107th just pushing in through that forest and getting rid of any kind of offensive there.
I will say I'm actually kind of surprised. Oh, there's the cap progress. I was gonna say TW does own the hill on Salient.
They own it, but people are still getting in there. Looks like TAW isn't committing everybody to the Salient approach. They've got some people on the Scar itself, which could be a mistake. It depends if they're able to take this hill and actually win this cap. But it looks like as more and more of the 107 just start pushing in to the point, they're just going to start losing it.
Yeah, this is tough. It's really gonna come down to gunfights. It's pretty much even numbers on the point, TW 107th, and it's really just gonna be a matter of who's winning their gunfights.
Yeah.
And right now, it seems like the gunfights are going in favor of 107th.
They just have more people on point, and they've got OPs a bit closer, it seems, to keep that pressure on it. I mean, they're probably going to try and hold out as long as possible just so that they can get another reinforce on there and just delay as much as possible. Because even if TAW recaptures, it takes a lot of time to then try and push up. I can see one of the 107s, can't tell if it's a 76 or 75, start to push up the road here.
Yeah. I will say, TW has successfully completely cleared everything off of Scar. So if they are able to recapture here, it would be a quick back and forth. I just doesn't look like TW quite has the numbers they need though to actually retake the point. especially with the armor. The armor, I think, is making a massive difference for 107th right now. However, now that we're getting into the salient and so close to the German lines, once that armor goes down, I suspect to see TAW will have that armor advantage come back their way pretty quickly. And that's going to be a really could change the difference in their ability to recap salient.
Yeah, like armor superiority is kind of important on any point, but I feel like the Scar is one of those points where it's especially true. We got a bombing run or something coming in from TAW here over the point. We'll see how effective this is taking out 107. One, two,
Ooh.
3, 4, 5,
Six,
6,
seven.
7.
Oh,
8,
that was 8 monster bombing
8.
run from TAW, and they're pushing in. We'll see if they're able to capitalize on that monster.
Yeah, that is really what they needed right now as they start making some cap progress and rushing into this point.
Wow, that was a baller bombing run. Now it's just a matter if they can just get close enough to start dropping OPs, they might be able to push 107th out of their entrenched position.
Yeah. Oh, but 107th has all those OPs and spawns, it seems like, coming back onto the point. They just have massive presence on the hill.
Is TAW out of munitions? Some artillery rounds coming in would be massive right now for them.
They have 75 munitions left.
Oh yeah, so they're probably trying to be conservative.
Yeah, and they got 0 manpower and only 235 fuel. And since their tanks have kind of been eating it a little bit.
Yep. Meanwhile, 107th has been able to reestablish garrisons on the Scar. Is TAW still committing their forces to trying to hold the area around
That's
the
a
Scar?
recon captain, right?
Yep. Can you let them know that that is recon and that is fair game? So that is a recon cap, so they must respond to that capture progress on logging camp.
It looks like they got a couple people trying to respond to that.
But you put it in text chat to let them know?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I told him recon is cap and logging camp, which is fair game.
Perfect. Meanwhile,
diverted some of their forces, but that's all they need right now.
Meanwhile, TAW has successfully destroyed the 107th armor presence. So now we'll see if that change in armor superiority will go in the favor. Oh, meanwhile, we got TAW Jumbaya getting in behind, getting down the 107th garrison. And, oh wow, he could, all the 107th OPs are all on top of each other, and they're yet to respond. Oh, Jumbaya might have a play of a game right here, as he starts to get in on all the OPs from 107th.
Oh man, he's about to get taken out here, it looks like, by Corporal Drogan, maybe.
And he is just so close. If he's just trying to squeeze his way around to see if he can't get into that critical outpost area. Meanwhile, 107th has lost most of their garrisons.
Question is, can TAW make a move fast enough? Doesn't seem like he's making much of a play here to try and take people out. He's pushing up onto the hill. He got one squad lead.
Oh, and there he goes. Good play though. Like I said, one artillery shell on that back line could really be disruptive for 107th, as they are just getting swarmed on the point, as TAW knows that it's all or nothing here. And here goes the cap progress. Yeah, 107th is definitely in trouble with this swarming assault coming from TAW.
Yeah.
With TAW's armor superiority, I would not be surprised to see this go in TAW's favor.
Yeah, it's just been this slow kind of advance from TAW as they push on the salient from all fronts.
Meanwhile, 107th only has the one garrison on point and one garrison north, so TAW has really done a number on their spawn game for 107th. But man, is Salient just the most brutal point to try to assault?
So I wouldn't be surprised to see a reinforce maybe from.
Oh, nice little
Oh, that was a
strafing
pretty
run.
good strafing run.
Yeah, that got actually some pretty good intelligence right there. Meanwhile, we got TW fighting into the point, starting to drop the OPs from 107th. I think this might be it. Oh, TW, now it's down to Dawn Petroleum and a big spawn from 107th as their garrisons are going down and TW is swarming. They are all pushing in, but TW seems to be choking them out. As we see, most of the 107th spawns are being evaporated right in front of our eyes. Another big spawn from TW. And 107th just trying to cling to life as the gunfights are back and forth.
I wonder if they're gonna put a reinforce on this, or if they're just gonna save the manpower.
And just blood and carnage as TAW is doing everything they can to wipe out the remaining spawns from 107th.
What's the 107th garrison situation look like past this point?
Nothing. They have one in the north and then only one backup garrison, not even in the Scar Zone. And here comes a bombing run from the 107th that is devastating for TAW. Wow! That was almost like this had to be like 20 people. Wow! Massive bombing run from 107th as both teams just clinging to life trying to capture Salient.
That was at least 8 people, if I read the log right, from
Oh
that single bombing
man.
run.
At 107th just trying to hold on by the skin of their teeth as TW continues their push despite a devastating bombing run. Oh, and it looks like Salient's gonna be recaptured by TAW. And there it is, the recapture. What a fight! Wow.
Holy cow.
That was
Now the question
awesome.
is, so I guess here comes the next question. All right, the Scar, do they try and secure this position on Salient? I mean, I feel like 107's got a garrison or something north of Salient.
They do, but it was just wiped with that last push. Meanwhile, the 107th is now pushing their armor assets back to the Scar to try to re-secure, as they only have about 2 garrisons in the vicinity of the Scar.
Yeah, the commander is moving in to place down a garrison. They might respawn a good portion of their troops just to assault Scar again.
Yeah, meanwhile, TW hasn't seemed like they've wanted to move off of Salient as they keep most of their forces on the point. No massive redeploy from them.
You mean 107?
From TW as they're just totally locking down Salient. Wow, what a fight! That's one for the highlight reels. That was exciting.
Man, that was an amazing push on their part.
Yeah. And like give credit to 107th, that bombing run. Oh man, that was almost just enough, but almost an entire TAW squad was able to get safe harbor within a bunker to keep that push alive, and just enough to swipe the remaining outposts and garrisons to push 107th off the point. So I'll continue to monitor the situation in Salient if you want to rotate towards the Scar, see what kind of assault they're going to be able to put together. Meanwhile, the 107th has successfully re-established a strong garrison game around the Scar.
Yeah, 107's been able to move back onto the Scar. It seems like they've got a tank. It looks like in there.
Yeah, they have
Kind of
2
Sherman.
heavies overlooking, as well as a 3rd heavy in the Scar itself. So 107th definitely bringing the dominant armor presence to TAW today.
Yeah. The armor presence what won them the scar, I think, in the first place. They just had 3 tanks in different positions, just pounding on the infantry advance as they went downhill onto the point.
Yeah,
So they were
couple
just
that.
getting pummeled.
Yeah, couple that with the sneaky pick from the Stewart to really set TAW back on their initial assault. It really has put TAW on the back foot. But man, what a fantastic maneuver to recapture salient from the TAW side.
I gotta say, I'm pretty sure it was all thanks to I want to say Jambalaya, but I know that's not his name. I'm looking for it now.
Yeah, getting in there because what he did was is he actually took out the garrison and forced 107th to replace it within the wire on salient, and that actually forced a clustering effect that when the pressure did come, all their outposts and garrisons had no breath. So it made it so TAW, where their assault was coming in, was immediately able to re-secure and destroy that garrison, making it 107th in tough shape to actually hold salient.
Yeah, TAW really owes Jambaya here a big thanks, and I'm gonna let him know after this match.
So with just under 15 minutes to play, it looks like TW definitely has their work cut out for them if they're going to recapture the Scar. I will say, though, by retaking Salient, they are definitely in this match. As round 2 now, all they have to do is get that recapture, which is a much easier job than trying to win back after being mercy ruled.
That's for sure. Gotta say, every match this week has gone the full length, and it has been exciting to watch. Todd doesn't seem to have the same kind of presence they did at the beginning of the match going on to Scar, but it looks like they're pushing more from the Siegfried side to try and push in.
Meanwhile, TW has successfully sniffed out some of the 107th's attempts to get in and around and start assaulting to get some close-ups of some gunfights here in the forest as Delps takes on Biohazard Bravado. Some great small arm engagements going on off the point in around Salient. Is TW starting to make some pressure in on the Scar though?
They're not moving into the Scar so much. I'm trying to deal with the situation with one too many people on Taw's side.
Copy that. Good catch. So let them know, and I'd say give them like 2 minutes, and then if they can't rectify it in 2 minutes, we'll just kick the most recent person to join.
All right, it's been corrected.
Good stuff. Yeah, I think 107th, they are trying to get some kind of pressure. The recon element is a thorn in the side of TAW on Salient, but right now there's some really good small squad arms tactics going on between the recon and the TAW defense, who's really making it difficult for either recon squad to get any pressure in on
Yeah,
Salient.
TAW's been pushing in from the north side onto the Scar from the forested area, and they've been winning their gunfight slowly but surely. So it should be interesting to see what happens here. It's a bit of an easier approach for them as it's more forested and less open ground for them to have to cover.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're getting into some recon versus small squad sections as they try to sniff each other out in the forest of Firkin.
That's all I hear right now from these like couple of machine gunners that 107 has set up.
Yeah, I think 107 is also quite content to just let their recon see what they can do. As they maybe send one squad size element apart from the recon to start putting a little bit of pressure on, but definitely not a whole lot, as they're probably pretty satisfied to just hold that middle cap with just almost only 5 minutes left.
That's for sure. Yeah, TAW seems to be controlling the hills again, which is good on their part since they if they control those hills, they can push onto the Scar more easily.
Meanwhile, we have Mini Dude from the 107th looking like they're starting to try to push themselves into Salient as we start to see a little bit of pressure coming from 107th to maybe try to recapture Salient.
Yeah, I want to see where this fucking. There's that tank.
Potty mouth.
So I've got the 76 just overlooking the hill. He's got quite the view. So I gotta say, good on them. That is an awesome position for that tank to be in.
Yep, and I think that's probably on their view. That's probably one of the advantages I would send 107th ways as far as a difference maker is just that armor superiority. I think TAW has some really great armor crewmen. And traditionally, especially on old Hurricane, armor is not your friend. But I think 107th is showing just how effective the armor can be, especially on the Scar stronghold.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The thing is, it's a lot of open fields. The tanks are in a high up position with a lot of range of movement. If they can see you, they can shoot you, and it's hard for any of the AT to really respond because you've got the river, you've got just a lot of open ground you have to cover before you can even reach that tank.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're actually seeing a significant force from 107. Now about 3 squad-size elements starting to push into Salient, whereas TAW this time is taking the approach of being a little bit more conservative, defending from the hills of Salient itself.
Yeah, that's probably the right play on their part. They got tank support moving in to help them with that defense. Really should probably see a bombing run trying to take out some of these tanks though, because it is not helping out TAW right now.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if TAW, now that we've seen a pretty significant force from, actually I'm going to announce we're about the 5-minute warning mark. But
I'm just
now
gonna
we're,
say 4 minutes left once
yeah,
it gets there.
as now we're seeing the 107th looking like they're going to make one last ditched assault onto Salient to see if they can't score that extra point late in the round. However, with TAW armor support, it's going to be a tough call for 107th to really breach into salient.
Yeah. I gotta say, I mean, TAW is making progress, but I see Lone Wolf is just being able to get behind them and disrupt them.
No, that's where it's still just so hard. If your commitment to attack is to flank, you have to make it be an all or nothing flank. Just because it's so easy to get swept in from behind just by the sheer number of garrisons the defensive team can place. Really forces
That's for
you
sure.
to, if you're going to make that push. Oh, interesting
We
bombing
got a
run from
bombing run.
107th.
How
So that
effective was it?
it did manage to wipe out a couple of troopers on.
Did not get the squad lead, however.
Yep, and we're seeing cap progress from 107th after that bombing run was able to take out just a couple.
Yeah, I saw a
TW
little bit of cap
defenders.
progress on the Scar here from TAW, but it's kind of been back and forth. They really need to start winning some of these gunfights on point. As Barry the Bandit comes up from behind and may have been taking out some of their OPs.
Yep. So now we're getting into the clutch decisions. What do you do? 47, 47, 2.5 minutes or so to go. Do you fold in on Scar with the right now 107th looking at one outpost, one garrison, or do you go for salient? It's all or nothing. Some cap progress on salient. Meanwhile, no cap progress on Scar. What do you do? This is the make or break.
I
Are you
feel
in on
like
the
if you're
attack or in on the
107,
defense?
I feel like at this point 107 just needs to be on the defense. They have the middle point. It takes a minute to cap. They just have to really hold it for another 2 minutes.
And this is going to be a photo finish, folks, with cap progress going on both salient and the Scar with just about 2 minutes left. Oh man, this is going to be insane.
What's the manpower situation look like for 107?
107th is sitting at 10, but they could do some conversions. So 107th with just under 2 minutes to play does have an opportunity here on Scar, or excuse me, on Salient. I would say the Scar with under 2 minutes and no cap progress. If I'm TAW, I'm all in on defending Salient. If I'm 107th, I know the time that's left. I'm saying I'm all in on the Salient. Let's try to cap this guy. The fight right now is all about Salient with the time that's left.
I mean, Scar is getting cap progress right
But
now.
I don't think it's going to be enough time. With only a minute and a half to do a full cap.
Yeah, TAW is winning multiple gunfights back to back to back, so it is definitely helping them out here.
Meanwhile, all cap progress has gone against 107th, so the Salient is under control. I'm going to rotate over to the Scar, since now there's not enough time in game for the 107th to capture Salient, so we'll see how this photo finish wraps up at the Scar. With just 55 seconds.
I gotta say, this is probably the closest match. I see Mine Snow pushing in, and he sees where that garrison is. He's probably getting set up with an AT rocket just to launch at the next spawn wave there.
Yeah, I'm going to do a quick score check as we are approaching the 30-second mark, just so we can capture that last 30 seconds, because this will be a photo finish if progress on Scar is consistent.
Yeah, Anime So taking out that garrison there. So this could be huge.
I don't think they're going to have enough time. Yeah, 15 seconds. They won't have enough time to cap. You want to get ready to flip the map here in the next 10 seconds?
All right.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, flip.